Today's daily number, $150 billion. That's right. The IRS has issued over $151 billion in tax refunds to American citizens. Welcome to the Daily Number segment of the Finance Rebel Show. Everybody, I'm Kamari Ellis. I'm the Finance Rebel. Welcome to the Daily Number. This is the show where we come every day and we talk about money, just to help you get a little bit more acclimated, a little more comfortable with numbers, money, and hopefully that you'll increase your overall financial literacy, financial education numbers, so you can take this information and use it to empower yourself. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the tax season, right? It's tax season 2022. I've been doing updates on those. This is our next update because Chuck Rettig, the IRS commissioner, just testified in front of the Congressional Senate Ways and Means. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit deeply, what it means to you, your pocketbook, and your wallet, and how it's going to impact you going forward. But as always, we always do our stock market rundown. We do a little bit on Ukraine and Russia updates as well. Again, we're going to go over tax season, some tax season updates, and then we always end with our affirmation of the day. So hold on tight, y'all, because we're going to get into the stock market rundown. Now, today, if anybody was paying attention, we saw that the markets were up. Markets were up today. Stock markets were up today. Now, if anybody has been listening to me over these last, let's say, weeks or months that I've been doing this, I've been telling you to pay attention to a certain thing called correlation, but we'll get into it in just a second. But stock market up, closed at 4,420. Right. When we talk about the stock market, we are talking about the S&P 500, which is the 500 biggest publicly traded companies in the United States. So we're seeing some positive movement in the stock market. I think that's because we've seen some laws in Ukraine, just a little bit in terms of news coverage, because we know news drives everything, and things are kind of panning out just a little bit. Russia's not getting its way like everybody was once really, really scared of, right? But the S&P is still down year-to-date 5%. Still down year-to-date 5%. Now let's get on to oil. Oil closed down $111, right? We're still in the teens. We're still in those 100 teen numbers, but they're starting to come down. Now, again, number I've been wanting y'all to pay attention to, the correlations I've been wanting y'all to pay attention to. All right. Let me know in the comments below if you understand what I'm talking about. Put a comment and let me know. Gold, $19.59. All right. Gold is down to $1,959 per troy ounce. Gold, however, is still up year to date, up 7%, year to date. Now, Bitcoin, the big digital asset, big dog, right? Closed at 44,000. Bitcoin's up, stock market's up, oil's down, gold's down. Anybody noticing a pattern? All right. So Bitcoin, again, year to date is down 4.9%. Might as well say 5%. All right. So again, oil's down, gold's down, Bitcoin's up, stock market's up. Anybody see anything? But all right, I'm not going to delay that. I'm not going to go through it. But let me know if you see what I'm talking about below in the comments. All right. Now, tax season update. Tax season has been crazy. I've made several videos about tax season and how it's been coming along and how I basically have expected them to be basically up the creek without a paddle, right? And I haven't been wrong, but it's not as bad as I once imagined it, but we still got a long way to go. All right. The IRS Commissioner, Chuck Rettig, recently just testified before Congress in front of the oversights of Ways and Means, right? I always tell y'all, we got to pay attention to politics, because politics is what's driving your pocketbook and your wallet, or what's in your pocketbook and your wallet. And it's a good idea to stay in touch with what's going on with tax season, because I'm pretty sure many of you are getting tax refunds. But I wanted to talk about this real quick. Again, here it says the IRS chief says the agency will get through its backlog. IRS still has a backlog. Right, get through its backlog of unprocessed tax returns before December. Now, I think that's great news. I don't have a whole lot of faith though, but just wanted to throw the horn just to put the good vibes out in the air so we all can feel it, right? Because that's not a good thing. It's going to take a whole year to get behind us. Now, it's not his fault. It's really not. And I'm a total believer of taking accountability and taking ownership, but it's not Chuck Rettig's fault. We had COVID, right? We had COVID. We had the pandemic. We had the lockdown. Some people are calling it the panini. Some people are calling it the Omarion. Whatever you want to call it, it's been a major event for all of us, as well as the government agencies, okay? Now, there's a couple pieces in here I wanted to go over. So the National Taxpayer Advocate, Aaron Collins, I've talked about this before, the Irs Watchdog, the IRS still has 6.2 million unprocessed individual returns as of December 2021, along with 2.3 million unprocessed amended returns. An amended return is when a taxpayer made an error, forgot to add something, and they had to send in a new return, or excuse me, a return that's fixing the bad return and replacing the old return with a new return. So that's the amended return. So they got 2.3 million of those of amended returns and 6.3 million of unprocessed returns. Let's just call it an even 9 million, right? So they have 9 million unprocessed tax returns starting at the beginning of the year. All right. And now, as I mentioned to you earlier, that the IRS has paid out 151 billion in tax refunds, right? Now they have received over 60 million tax returns. They processed 45 million tax returns so far. So that's good, but there's still a gap there of about 15 billion that are unprocessed. Now they have this quote unquote surge team. The surge team is basically they're pulling people from other duties to focus on filing tax returns, right? To make sure they get those through. And so allegedly, supposedly, air quotes, they're going to get those all through by the end of the year. Plus, the IRS is hiring 5,000 people over the next 2 to 3 months. How they're going to do that, I don't know. But let's continue on with this piece here. And I want to show you something else real quick. All right. So Chuck Rettig said it will be absolutely before December. Nothing noting that his term ends in November. That's a key figure. He also outlined some of the steps that the IRS is taking to get those checks in the hands of Americans. So they have been working diligently to get checks into the hands of Americans. They've been wanting to process those tax refunds. All right, so here it says, in prepared testimony, Rettig said that the IRS has gotten over 63 million tax returns as of March 11, and sent out over 45 million refunds worth over $151 billion. And I just said that. The backlog is a result of underfunded and understaffed agencies. What does that mean? Congress, which is the IRS's daddy, I keep telling y'all that, right? Congress dictates what the IRS does. Congress has not given the IRS enough money to do what they need to do. There were reports earlier that Congress ran out of ink for the printers, because oftentimes they have to print out some of these returns and do them manually by hand so they can get them through and get them processed. Now, some people are saying in the back of their mind, why would I want to fund the IRS? They're just going to take my money away from me. Well, if you saw last year, if you had to call into the IRS and experience those horrendous wait times, right, where the phone lines are only being answered anywhere between 10% and 11% of the time, that's why Congress needs more money so they can get more funding, so they can be staffed, so they can get money to staff. Not only that, they wanted money to staff so they can start doing bigger audits. They want to go after bigger audits. And we'll be talking some more about that in upcoming videos, right? But keep a lookout on that. All right, so the backlog is a result of underfunded and understaffed agency, which was tasked with new pandemic era responsibilities. like sending out stimulus checks and monthly child care tax credits checks, all while adjusting to the new work reality. All right, here's something else I wanted to go over. I want to better serve the American people. This is what Chuck Rettig is saying, the commissioner of the IRS. And so do the dedicated employees at the IRS. They will finally be able to do so if you, he's talking to Congress, and your colleagues provide us with the stable multi-year funding we need. Rettig said it in his prepared testimony. Like all federal agencies, the IRS is best able to accomplish our mission when we receive the resources necessary to do so. So it's like being on your job. They ask you to do something. Let's say you're a mechanic. They say change the tires, but there's no tires to be changed, right? You haven't brought the replacement tires to take off the old tires, so you can't do your job. Or if you need to get your oil changed, there's no new oil to bring in and flush out the old oil, so they can't do their job. They don't have the tools. It's not that these people are inept or don't have the training to do it. They just don't have the manpower and a lot of the resources. Okay. Now, there's another piece I wanted to share because I got a chance to look at some of the testimony from Mr. Rettig, and I thought it was interesting. So I want to share some of it with you all before I bid you all adieu for the evening. So give me 1 second because the internets are taking a little bit longer than what I expected. I had all this stuff queued up and still it's moving slow. It's moving slow. There we go. And I have a feeling none of the audio was playing. So let's do this real quick. Let's share this again. And I promise you all, I'm going to get better at sharing these things. All right, let's go again.
Questioning alternating between the majority and minority, beginning with members of the Oversight Subcommittee. Members appearing virtually are reminded to unmute yourselves when you are recognized for your 5 minutes. I will begin by recognizing myself for questions. Mr. Rettig.
Now, I just wanted to say who this is, right? So this is, again, the Oversight Committee of the Steering Committee of Ways and Means Committee in Congress. So these are the people who determine where all the money goes, right? They are a subcommittee in Congress, if any of you all understand how this goes. And this is Ms. Chu from California. She's a congresswoman from California who is now the acting chair of this committee. So that's important just to keep that in mind, y'all. Just to keep that in
mind. The IRS has announced the use of surge teams to address the tens of millions of returns in the backlog. In a sentence or two, can you tell me when will the backlog be eliminated? Before December?
My term ends in November, absolutely before December. And with all due respect, I would just add that my clock up here showed that I had 1:04. I didn't mean for you to have to gavel. I was watching my clock. But yes, we have 800 members of a surge team, which are experienced IRS employees who've come on to accounts management. We have 700 coming into submission processing. As of today, barring any unforeseen circumstances, COVID, et cetera, but if the world stays as it is today, we will be what we call healthy by the end of calendar year 22 and enter the 23 filing season with normal inventories. Healthy is through the eyes of the taxpayer.
Thank you. That is very, very encouraging news to hear that definitive.
Now, healthy, I'm a taxpayer. And I don't know, again, I don't believe it. I'm going to take him at face value, but I don't believe that they will be healthy by the way of 2022 in the eyes of the tax I don't believe hold times are going to be lower. I don't believe processing is going to be lower or faster. I mean, we're seeing some progress, but I think that like I mentioned earlier, they're going to be trying to employ 5,000 new employees in the next coming months. So listen, if y'all all know anybody that's trying to get a job, now's the time to go work for the IRS. It's good. It's fair money. It's great benefits and it's great experience. And you can take that experience and do a lot of things with it. All right. But with that said, I don't know if they're going to be able to hire as many people that quickly and ramp them up and get them trained properly. So I'm a little concerned about that. I'm also concerned with we're still in the first inning of the advanced child care tax credits, right? And some of the EIP or the economic impact payments. Mailers that were supposed to go out. Remember they were supposed to go out in January? Well, people have just been getting those in March. It's March now. So those filings have been late. So I'm wondering how many people's tax refunds have been adjusted automatically and now causing problems and creating more people that want to call in. So I'm just wondering about that. I'm not so sure, but we'll see. We'll see. Now, again, I think the IRS is going to do better as they get on, but I don't know if it's going to be done by the end of the year. I'm a little suspicious about that. I'm not totally convinced. Not totally convinced. So with that said, make sure when y'all go to do your tax returns for this year that you have all your information. Bring it to your tax pro, or if you're using an online service, make sure you have everything. Make sure that if you're a business owner, you got proper books and you're bringing it to them. Take your tax preparer or yourself, have a total package together when you are going to file your taxes, because you create a situation that you create a situation where you could have errors if you are going back and forth trying to get this piece of paper, trying to get this report, trying to get this 1099. So you want to make sure you got it all together at the end of the day. All right. Now, as always, we like to talk about our affirmation of the day, which is, I am proud of the hard work I put into things. Again, I am proud of the hard work I put into things. I am proud of the hard work I put into things. Listen, if you've taken the time and you've been diligent and you've been studious about whatever work that you're endeavoring on, I don't care if it's mopping the floor, making a hamburger, doing hair, doing taxes, right? Fixing cars. I don't care. You put your love into it and you take time with it. You should be proud of that thing. You should be proud of that thing. And you should sit back and reflect on that and say, you know what? I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that I'm able to go the extra mile and do work, because listen, nothing happens until the work begins. Nothing at all. You can't get a bag. You can't get a check. You can't get success. It's going to take some work. Now, there are some of us who've been born with silver spoons in our mouths, but I don't know if those folks can really say that they're successful. They might have some money, but I don't really consider them successful. All right. So that's today's number. We did our stock market rundown. We covered Russia, Ukraine, and we did our tax season update. Question for you all before I get out of here. Have you done your taxes already? And if so, are you expecting a refund? Put that down in the comments below. And as always, I appreciate you all. I'm really, really thankful that you're here. Remember to stay grateful, stay in love, right? Be loved, rather, right? And also, always stay in the light. Do me a favor. One last question. Share this out with somebody and subscribe to the channel. Until the next time, y'all have a great night. Bye-bye.